everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I am here with the first layout using the Allie Edwards story kit. The story kit for this month is reading themed. So this is the first layout I'm making with it, and as I mentioned in my unboxing video, it doesn't seem like there's that many supplies that actually come with this kit, but I'll tell you, in making this particular layout, it's more the value of what you get in the story sparks or the story prompts. It's really about making you think about the stories you're telling and kind of giving you different perspectives to think about. So what I mean is, so obviously a lot of these things are reading themed, and I don't know how I don't have any photos printed of books, but I don't, and I don't print at home. So I was going through all the photos that I have printed, and I was trying to figure out different ways to use the theme of reading. And it made me think about reading the weather, because there's this one week in February of last year that it snowed, and this was kind of our first snow of the year, and we had really been paying attention to the weather for the week because we knew snow was coming and we really wanted it to snow. So that's what I ended up doing. I took the theme of reading and kind of told a little bit more of a story of it snowing, talking about reading the weather, paying attention to the weather, but also kind of doing a little bit more as far as just the different things that we did at that point in time. So, for instance, these chipboard pieces, the top one says learn something new, and the second one says instant classic. And even though those could be reading themed or, focused around reading a book or learning something from a book, it really can be catered toward other things. And that's what this kit really made me do. It really made me think about different ways to take those same products and tell different stories. And someone had mentioned it, I think it was Sarah had mentioned in a comment on my unboxing video that she thought the value really was in the classes and just the storytelling information that Allie provided, and she's completely right. That's exactly where the value is. I love using this kit. I'll tell you this now. I have found that it has really made me look at my photos in a different way and really kind of made me look for different stories to tell, not just the obvious, hey, it snowed, but hey, it snowed, we spent time playing games and really kind of learning a new game. We learned Monopoly Junior that week. Also really paying attention to the weather app and how that kind of played an important role in that week, and just those type of things. So I found this kit extremely fun to use, and it's just a different take on a normal kit. It's not just product to work with, but it's product to work with and stories to think about. And I enjoyed that. I think that's different. I think it's different than what most kits are catered toward, and I think it's pretty cool. I like it. So anyways, let me just tell you what I'm doing here. I didn't want to use all of the cards from the kit, and they all weren't appropriate for this layout. So I mixed in a few Project Life cards from the Honey edition, which is one of my favorite core kits. I only have a few core kits, and that is one of my favorite ones. So I pulled out just a few cards from there to pull in the grays and the blues and the greens, and those are on that card that I'm putting this weather word on right now. That's actually from the kit, so I took a card from the kit and kind of made the color scheme for the rest of the layout. And then that Once Upon a Time card up to the top is also from the kit. I'm going to pull out these Kaiser Craft mini, tiny, micro alphas, whatever they're called. I love them. These were sent to me by Angela. Thank you. And so I was pulling this out and using them, and I'm using them to make part of the title. So I'll tell you what my title is. For this card, it's going to say The Crazy Weather. And I just use a couple different alphas. I also pull out a Studio Calico Color Theory alpha in inky black as well. This is one of those alphas that I don't have a ton of letters left on, and so anytime I can come up with a Well, I have a ton of letters. I don't have a ton of vowels though. So anytime I can come up with a word that I have all the correct letters for, I totally jump on it. I know I've mentioned this before in some of my videos about my alpha stash. I have yet to get rid of an alpha or completely use an alpha, but I refuse to throw them away. And I don't know, I know there are plenty of ways to use them. And so I'm just kind of using them as I go. I keep my most used alphas at the front of my basket where I keep all my alphas. So whenever I'm looking for a particular word, I try to look in those alphas first just to see if there are any mostly used sets where I can pull out a certain word. So that one says the crazy weather. And this card also says this week I'm reading, and then it has like those upside down triangles at the top. So it says, the caption says this week I'm reading, and then the very bottom says the crazy weather. So I was just talking about paying attention to the weather throughout the week and kind of just being aware of what's going on for the week. So because it was snow, I went ahead and pulled out a lot of the snowflakes that are in my Christmas supplies. I don't know why I keep the snowflakes in the Christmas supplies, because truly it never snows here at Christmas, but I do keep it there because that just seems the most logical in my mind, especially since a lot of the sets that have snowflakes on them also have other Christmas themed products as well. So I'm going to add a snowflake to this top card. I really love that gray card. It's just so pretty. It says once upon a time. Well, it says just a little story, once upon a time. And then it has red journaling lines. You'll see those in the still shots at the end of the layout. I mean, at the end of this video, if you'd like to see those. I feel a little out of my element today. You guys probably could tell, but I've been having a hard time balancing the time commitment to different things. Not scrapbooking, because I would love to scrapbook even more, but just time commitment overall. And so finding time to narrate some of the videos has been a little bit of a challenge for me. And so I'm kind of trying to make sure that I am completely focused on this. And that's kind of hard to do when your mind's in a bunch of different places. So I apologize if I seem a little scatterbrained today. I love these little word stickers that come in the kit. Most of the word stickers that I have are exactly rectangular, and these kind of have like oblong rectangular shapes where it might be somewhat angled on the end, and I think that's really kind of cool looking. It just adds a funky effect to it. And on this top one, I'm taking a banner shape from that same Color Theory Studio Calico Alpha sticker sheet, and I'm adding a label on there. So I took the banner shape and then I added the word fun, and then I'm adding again in these Kaiser Craft Tiny Alpha stickers, I'm adding the word so much. So it says so much fun. And then I'm going to add my little snowflake here. I like that it's very subtle looking, and it's not like in your face. I wanted the snowflakes on this layout to be very subtle, and even the silver ones in the bottom left photo, because it's such a dark tree with the white ice or like the sparkly ice, you really can barely see the snowflake in the photo. You can see it in person because it's like a gold, I was going to say gold foil, but no, they're silver foil snowflakes. And so they're definitely noticeable in person, but it's a little bit harder to see them in the photo. But I like that it's more of a subtle effect. So I had a picture of the weather at night and a picture of the weather in the day, and it was 9 degrees at night, and it was 16 degrees during the day. So, and that's Fahrenheit. So that's pretty cold from where we are in North Carolina. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's pretty cold. It doesn't normally get quite that cold, especially not for very long. And it was a snow, but it was definitely an ice as well. So the picture of the tree was really pretty because it shows it covered in ice, and snow, but I just like the way it looks. We don't get a lot of snow every year, but it is kind of fun when we do. I like to capture that. And this was Kaylin's first one that he really remembered. really remembered having fun in. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My nose is running. So I'm taking one of the numbers that says 3 and I'm putting 3 of us. And so I'm going to add a few little bits to this. So I'm going to add in the Kaiser Craft Tiny Alphas. Again, I'm going to add the letters to spell the, so it's going to say the 3 of us, and then I'm going to use one of those little word stickers to say happily, so it's going to say the 3 of us happily, and then I'm going to add also in that little word strip sticker set there are a few punctuation points as well as a heart and I think a star, but I'm going to use the heart right here where it says after the 3 of us happily. I'm going to add a little heart. I like the size of these little tile alphas. I'm adding adhesive to the back of them though because I don't want to run the risk of them falling off. They're not super sticky. I mean, they're sticky, but they're not so incredibly sticky. And so I want to make sure that these stay. And I love those tiny alphas. Those are awesome. I really enjoy those. I'm like, I want more, but I don't know that I'm ever going to run out of them because I have so many of them now, which is fantastic. But I can always get more, of course, if I run out of them. So I added that captured tab at the bottom, and that was cut from a Honey Edition card. And so I added a word label above that, and it says, I live for these kind of stories. And then it says captured. And so, again, I'm using the reading theme in a not exactly reading related page, as you can see. It's more so kind of telling the story of what's going on and also kind of, reading the weather and different things like that. So I'm going through all the word stickers just to see if anything else fits. And so let's see. I use that speech bubble from the kit, and it's it's like a dark gray and white stripe. And then I add the word sticker that says note, and then I'm going to add the letters cold. So, from that Color Theory Alpha set. And so it just says note cold. And then the green chipboard sticker at the top says read all about it. And then on the daytime one, I use the cutoff from that diamond green chipboard piece at the top left on the photo with Kaylin playing Monopoly. And I added it to the edge of that one just to bring in a bit of green. Even though it's on the green card, it was nice to kind of pull in another little bit of green. And then I'm going to add letter stickers to make it say day temp, like day temperature, just to kind of explain the difference between those two. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but just you never know in the future. Okay, so what I was just showing you is Kaylin is playing with his pizza Play-Doh set, and he was making me I think that was supposed to be like breadsticks or something. I don't exactly remember, but he wanted to show it to you guys because it was very important. So you got to see what he was playing with. Okay, so this is a total fail, and I left it in here because, we will learn together. I should have really researched how to use these silk screens before I use them, but I was like, I'll just use some ink and use a dabber and put it on it. Yeah, that didn't work. And so I pull out this Color Theory paint, which made a beautiful card. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't. But it destroyed the silk screen, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm using just a piece of packaging. It's like a real thick piece of plastic packaging. Maybe I just used too much of the paint. I'm really not sure. It made a beautiful card, but it basically ruined the silk screen. After this, I didn't use them anymore with the entire kit. Because I don't know. It was too difficult. It made a giant mess, and it was really too difficult to use. But I really like the color. I like the color of that Color Theory paint. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe the paint was. I don't know, but it makes a beautiful lined card, and I try to clean it off, but in the midst of doing that, I kind of fold it, and then the silk screen wouldn't lay flat anymore after that. So I was like, okay. So I ended up putting paper clips on it and just kind of setting it aside to try to play with later. And like I said, I don't end up using it. I don't even use the other half of that silk screen anywhere else on this entire, on any of the pages, truly. But it makes a really pretty raised, kind of embossed type of journaling card. And I use both pieces, so I cut it down. And then I use the other piece on another page later. And I tried one more time just to see if the black ink would work. And it kind of does, but it doesn't really make a very pretty line. And then I was like, well, I'll just take the ink pad directly to it. Yeah, that wasn't really smart either. I made a giant mess. Oh my gosh. And then I couldn't get it off. I'm just like, oh, whatever. It would have been a lot easier just to draw lines. And I know that kind of defeats the purpose of using the silk screen, but it truly would have been easier just to draw lines. But it's okay. It was worth a shot. I probably won't try it again unless somebody gives me some awesome tips on how to use the silk screens, because I totally failed. But I like to show my failures as well as my attempts, because you know what? It made a beautiful card, and even though I would love to be able to use that silk screen more often because it made such a pretty card, I just really like the raised embossed kind of look that it gave. But you can also get that with a lined stamp and some embossing powder. So, I don't know. But that finishes that card. And what it says is, all week we've been watching the weather apps on our phones. The first big snow of the year has hit, and it's enough to stick around for some time for us to play. And then I'm going to add a few word stickers here. The one at the top is going to say little moments, and then the one at the end of the journaling is going to say happiness. And I just added a gray strip right behind the journaling. You cannot see it in the video, but it was just another way to pull in just a tiny bit of color to add to this card. If you haven't noticed, I love these word stickers, and I continue to use them across the entire page, and I believe even at the very end, I pull out the word stickers again and see if there's any way for me to add any more. All right, and I'll tell you what's on this journaling card as well. And so it says, as I mentioned before, just a little story, once upon a time. And then I added my little banner at the bottom that says so much fun. I'm going to add a few more things to the top of the card, but basically it says, just a little story, once upon a time. On a cold and snowy day, a little boy pulled out a game called Monopoly Junior. Little did he know this would be the start of a long love of board games. Just like his mama, he would grow to love all games. This is really kind of the first time Kaylin and I played board games, and let me tell you, this kid is a freak about games. Like, he loves them, which I do too. I really enjoy games and puzzles and anything like that, and that's exactly how he is. So I thought that was kind of a cute way to tell a little bit of a story. And then I added the speech bubble that says take me away. I didn't use any of the products that are very specifically book themed. Like, I didn't use that Heart Books word speech bubble, or the one that says bookworm, or the the acrylic piece that says read. But I used a lot of the other products just in different ways, and I really like how this layout turned out. It's different. I definitely thought about it in a different way. But I think that's really valuable, especially if you get stuck in scrapbooking or you don't know exactly what stories to tell. Allie's kits seem to be really well put together and thought out, and they really make you think about things that you may not have thought about whenever you were originally sitting down to do your scrapbooking. So I think that it is an amazing kit, and I think it's going to be really fun to work with. I think that it would be beneficial at least to subscribe to the stamp kit, which I wish I could have gotten, but it was sold out. And since I'm doing a different kit each month, I didn't want to subscribe for like the next month because I'm really only focusing on different kits, not the same kit over and over again. But in the future, I think it would be really beneficial to subscribe to the stamp kit so you can get that stamp set and use it continuously. And you would also have access to the digital like classroom. I think it's called the digital classroom, which seems like it would be really beneficial as well. So that's kind of just my initial thoughts of working with the kit. And it was really easy to find products. All I needed to add was just a few cards. I actually didn't even add much more than a few cards and some alphas. But it was really easy to find products that coordinated with the kit because the colors are pretty basic. It's nothing too crazy or too far out there. So anyways, this finishes up the layout. I'm just adding my last caption here that says day temp for day temperature, and then that will be it. Stay tuned for some photos, and also check out the blog post that goes along with this so you can see more information. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.